Hello, and today I am making meatless rotini with tomato sauce, or tomato sauce. So first I need to get some mushrooms, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to cut all these up really good and really small, and I'm going to cook them on medium-high heat. And well, I'll start out with the medium-high heat. But what I'm going to do is cook these for a long, long time. I'm going to basically make these into little bitty chunks that's really been cooked down real well and highly concentrated. What will happen is these, when they cook, these little pieces here will turn really brown and be nice and crunchy. And it'll be, or not crunchy, but nice and chewy. And it'll look a lot like ground beef. So I'm just going to put that over there in my bowl. And so you get the texture of the ground beef with mushrooms, okay? And to go with that, I'm going to, do some flavoring with my onions, which is normal. And again, the onions are going to be cooking for a long time too, because I want them to kind of caramelize and get all kinds of flavor in here. And when I say a long time, I mean like 30 minutes. So I'm going to basically cut these into small pieces. Now, sometimes when you cut your onions up, they make you cry. Okay, because you've heard that before, onions make you cry. But usually the only time the onions will make you cry is if your knife isn't sharp enough. So, if your onions are making you cry, first thing you want to do is check your knife, make sure it's nice and sharp. And if that's not what's causing it to make you cry, then you probably just have a really strong onion. But most of the time it's because you have a dull knife. Okay, so I've got those, pretty much small pieces. I'm just going to stick them in the bowl right now. And then I have a splash of olive oil in my fry pan. Let's get that out of the way there. A splash of olive oil in my fry pan. This is on medium-high heat. I'm going to wait until this heats up just a little bit. And then I'm going to put in a handful of dehydrated onion or garlic here. Okay, I've got this big, huge thing of dehydrated garlic, so I'm going to use it up. And I use a lot of garlic. I like it a lot. So I'm going to put that in there. Now, the oil is going to get soaked up. It's going to soak up that and make those a little bit softer. But if we let them cook too long, it'll burn. Garlic burns really easily, so we're not going to let that cook too much. I'm going to wait until I can start to hear it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. I'm just going to put all those right in there. And you can hear how that kind of sizzled when I took it in there, or dropped it in. So, what I'm going to do is stir that up. Make sure it's nice and stirred. And then, I'm just going to let it cook for about a half an hour. I'm going to come in here, stir it up some more. If it looks like it's cooking too fast, it looks like it's burning, I'm going to turn the heat down. But otherwise, I'm going to keep it on like about medium-high. For my stove, that's like on a 7. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Like that. We'll come back in about 30 minutes. Okay, so a half an hour later, it looks like this. Looks pretty much like ground beef. So I'm going to turn the heat down, and then I'm going to put some tomato sauce and some tomato dices in there. But in the meanwhile, I've got some water, salted water on the back burner, getting ready to boil for me to. And I have some water on the back burner here, getting ready to boil. I'm going to use that for my rotini. So, in the meanwhile, I'm going to take these here, turn the heat down. As you can see, after half an hour, this is what they look like. Okay, so all those brown bits on the bottom, those are going to scrape off and taste really good when we put the sauce in. So here, just straight out of the can, I have some organic tomato dices and some organic tomato sauce. Now what I like to do is put a little bit of water in with this. Smush around in the can, swish it around, and kind of go back and forth. That's just to get all the loveliness, all the extra taste out of there. So, and then I'm going to put this back on the burner. I'm going to turn it up to medium high, and I'm just going to let it kind of simmer while I'm waiting for my pot to boil to cook my rotini. So, and this is now what that looks like. Looks pretty good so far. Oh, I forgot that I'm going to put in a handful, about that much, of Italian spices. And again, I'm using organic, just because organic tastes better. Okay, so the sauce is now simmering, and you can see it's right about there. I'm going to let that simmer for about 15 minutes and really cook and thicken up a little bit. And I also see my water is boiling, so I'm going to add my rotini to it. And I'm going to stir it. I'm going to keep it on high until it comes to boil again, then I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to let that cook for what the package recommends. I think it's 8 minutes. Okay, I've drained my pasta and I have put my sauce in the bowl, and now I'm just going to mix it up. The pasta cooked for about 8 minutes and it was al dente. I'm going to mix it up and let it sit in the bowl here for about 10 minutes before I serve it, and that way the noodles can finish cooking and can soak up some of that lovely sauce that's in there. You see how beautiful that is? Now what I'm going to do is in each individual serving, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of romano and parmesan cheese. So I just put a little bit on here now to help that melt just a little bit. It doesn't really melt too much, but it looks really pretty. So there you go. For this one, the mushrooms cost about $1.99 a pound. The onions, about 25 cents. The noodles were about 99 cents. The organic diced tomatoes and organic tomato sauce was about $3 total. So this you can use either as a main dish or as a side dish. Oh, and then just like 25 cents in cheese there.